rise up squat. So today's video is going to be all about how to balance strength and endurance training. The two disciplines are somewhat incompatible, but there is ways to find balance between them. So yeah, I just want to share maybe some of the scientific stuff that I've learned about it, and also just stuff I've learned from training in both disciplines. So let's go. So just finished up with the climb. That was an awesome session. I sent my first V7. There was a lot of days worth of effort on that thing. The grades, I know they're very subjective, and especially in a gym like that, it's just like, you know, the setter's opinion on what it should be. But I could definitely tell that was a next step up in difficulty for me. So I'm super stoked to have that under my belt. All right, so one of my first tips to balancing endurance and strength training is dialing in your nutrition and finding what works best for you. What I found works for me is structuring my macronutrient intake around my activity. So I usually do my strength training, whether it be like climbing or weightlifting, in the morning, as well as my run in the late morning to afternoon. So my meals early in the day are usually higher carb with a moderate amount of protein, and I kind of flip-flops towards the end of the day, as I'll go higher protein and like a moderate amount of carbs in the later meals. I find I perform best when my body, you know, protein is the hardest macronutrient to digest. So I find my body works its best when it can just get that quick energy from the carbs. And I kind of use the protein as a recovery, as recovery at the end of the day. Cool, so now I'm out on my run. Just some easy miles, 4 or so. But yeah, once I'm done with this, I'll get back to you with the next tip. All right, so 4 miles down at just under 8-minute pace, feeling pretty good. The next little bit of advice or information has to do with fatigue and fatigue management. So when it comes to strength training, fatigue at high levels can plateau your strength, or at really high levels, your strength can start to decline. Though when it comes to endurance training, the gains are made at very high levels of fatigue, and that's where the fitness is built. So you definitely want to think about that when you're getting these workouts in. For example, I do about 3 strength training sessions a week, so climbing or weightlifting, like I said, in like 4 or 5 runs a week, just because you can't really do each activity at the same volume. You can run for much more than you can, exert that much force, yeah, if that makes any sense. Also, within your days, I always go with what workout is harder first. Usually, the strength training is done first, because I usually schedule my easy runs on those same days, and then like long runs or workouts have like their own day, because I have 4 days off from strength training. So that's usually how I structure it. You also want to make sure that you're taking full days off of both to be able to recover. Even though, let's say I went climbing and then I went running the next day, I'm not getting the full amount of recovery possible even from that climbing session. Oh my gosh. So my last little tip comes down to, you basically have to understand that you're going to be splitting your efforts and your body physically. When your body does an endurance activity, it requires different parts in your muscle cells to perform that activity, as well as when you do a strength activity, that requires its own set of parts on the cellular level. And it's important to understand that you're not going to become the best you can at either one of those compared to like if you did one activity individually. So if I were to stop climbing and just go full-time running, I would probably get a lot better, a lot faster. But I'm honestly okay with that reality, because I like doing both and I like having that variety in my life. And it doesn't mean that you can't focus on different things at different times. Like when I've tried to really improve at climbing, I cut down on my running, because I know that it inhibits the performance there, and I will definitely cut down on climbing when it comes closer to the marathon time. That's yeah, one of the realities of doing this sort of cross-training thing, so it doesn't mean that you can't keep progressing in multiple disciplines at once, but it is important to learn that there is a trade-off when doing that. So yeah, I guess that last tip is a little more of a mental switch. So yeah. Sweet. So thanks for watching. Hopefully it was somewhat useful advice if you find yourself wanting to pursue multiple disciplines. Hopefully it'll kind of help you get started in that direction, or something if you're having trouble balancing different activities and yeah, stuff like that. So yeah, thanks for watching.